This is a 1947 Buick, straight 8, 50 series. Now back in the day, shag rug was pretty cool. So I put shag rug in there. This is just an outer molding. The floors are all done. I couldn't start this for 30 years. I was missing the thermostat housing. Mike had one. After 2 years of negotiating, he finally made me a deal. Instead of buying the whole car, I got to get the housing. So I got to bolt that in, but I've been gone for a few years at Rust Bros. So anyhow, I get carried away out here. Look out there, the lemon grove as some call it. Now, we're about to show you, look at that. We're about to show you the final on the Dodge Dually. You may have seen the initial build on some other channel. Changed the cab, the doors, the fenders, the hood, everything. It was rusty. It's got 800 and some thousand K on it, 500 plus miles for those elsewhere. Anyhow, now we're going to show you doing the rear end and the dually box, which we painted quite a while ago. So we're going to show you a final on that, where it's all finished. So this is your last chance to say no.
To what?
Okay.
Getting rid of the rust?
Well, taking your cab off. Right now your truck runs and everything works. This, I've done countless of these, meaning zero.
But
We brought the specialist, Midnight Paint and Body John, rubber arm.
specialist on Dodge trucks.
Just because I've worked on some Dodge trucks,
Yes.
that makes me a specialist.
And he knows how to cut them apart and weld them back together. Neither one of us is a wiring expert, you might say.
Do we have one on speed dial?
Yeah, that would have been a good plan.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we do first? We're clear, eh? I'm just gonna lower down on the safety. Where's it? Okay. We're clear. Well, I gotta get a couple pictures. Far up.
Just like that. Look at that. The cab is free.
Well, that was freaking easy. Last coat of clear. The last opportunity to screw it up completely. It's looking really good. Straight. Shiny. But any painter always wants to push a little bit harder. Try to get a little bit more flow. Pretty happy with it. I'm going to push it hard. I don't have a run yet. And if I don't have a run, it means I'm leaving money on the table. So I want to push it and try to just hose it on for this last coat and really make this shine. I mean, it's pretty shiny, but this is pretty huge. If I had to sand and polish this, there's a couple days at least. So I'm going to push it and fingers crossed hope it comes out good. right here. That's pretty freaking small. I'm good with it. Yep. Oh, come on. Wash, it's coming. So I'm pretty happy. It was a success. There's just no way. Okay, that's gonna be clear. Okay. Hey, could you watch the exhaust?
I will keep the camera
Love
on.
your fancy exhaust. Whoa. Ooh, no, there's something a little more. Wow. Well, I better find my lights. I gotta see if this other side is free. Yeah. Oh, wrong side up. Oh, these polar bear mats. They're freaking awesome. Oh, no way! This side has a bolt, that side didn't. Yeah, okay. I have one more bolt. I even went on the internet and they said 6 bolts. So I took out 6. I went over here because it looked like there should be one. There wasn't. So I went, oh, okay. And I need the one right behind you. I'm presuming this will make it much easier if I take out the last bolt. Oh, geez. But an impact socket won't fit through the hole. So I have to use the non-impact. And a longer extension. Okay. So I actually twisted off 3 of these bolts with this Milwaukee cordless. It was that tough. Holy. Nice. Okay, let's see if it bounces off this time. Okay. I'm not seeing any extra wires. Yes.
So far the cab's safe from it.
Oh, yeah, I guess I should look.
Since the cab is new.
Yes, it is. Yeah, we're doing good. In fact, I've got to go a little higher, and then we'll just drive away from it. Okay, very good. Okay, I'm clear. Right? close to that window, so I'm going to drive ahead. Scream at me if anything goes weird. Okay, I can finish unmasking your truck now. And I reached in here. I managed to get it, but I couldn't pull it off. That's really good masking tape.
The frame still look good.
Oh, everything looks great. I mean, these bolts are good. Wiring's all good. All right, Tony's operating. So,
We got it out of the shop and we didn't wreck anything. So.
that's impressive. We carefully didn't turn the video on until after we got it
There
out.
we go.
Okay, man. We lent out the extended forks for the skid steer yesterday, so we had to tie it onto the forks. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that rust in there. Oh, nice. Yeah. A really bad time to have a stop brake.
I hope you put the straps on secure.
Yeah. Right on. Nicely done.
Where do you want it? Want it over here, like out of the way, or
Up beside that.
right there?
Yeah, beside the Blazer. Perfect. Wow. Greatly appreciated, Tony.
Hey, not
Thank
a
you.
problem. Makes it a lot easier than trying to hand blow it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks, man.
Hey, have a good one.
You bet. Oh, yeah. Look at the rust in this thing. That's brutal. Okay. Now I can put the truck in the shop and take the old rear end out of it. Spring bolts or torque head. I can go buy a big enough wrench to fit that. Chances are it's going to snap off. And it's the same on the front. So I'm going to weld a 1/2 inch nut, so 3/4 wrench size, to the head of this, and I'm going to try to spin them out. And if that doesn't work, I'll cut them off and hammer them out. But at least I'm going to pick up the truck with the hoist so that I can undo that and roll that rear end out of the way. Okay, I'm going to weld 1/2 inch nut and put an impact on it. Okay, try to break these free. The old jet swing handle. That's tight. I'm gonna cut that one off. this one. No, it's all right. Nothing's gonna break.
Famous last words?
I warned me if I was gonna take you out.
You never know, you might just want a brand new Dodge pickup,
Yeah.
especially a dually.
Okay. I think I can use the impact now. Far out. 800,000 K. And it still comes out. All right. Yeah, that would be nice.
Way too easy.
But yeah, there's
Some slop in there. You might need those new brackets.
I may have to get another bushing for the top here. May just be worn out steel which I can fix. So we'll see. So. Snug. Cat's ass. The answer. It's a shame I forgot to turn this on. You would have seen all kinds of commotion. It was, at times, unpleasant. You know? It's been a chore. But I have to go. It's worth it. Yeah, it's bolts didn't want to come out. I got the nuts off the bolts, but the bolts wouldn't come out. That's pretty typical. I got one e-brake left to unhook here. That's a freaking chore. So I'm gonna try to get it. And I was trying to find a hose clamp to push all the tabs in. I don't really have one small enough. But I might have a pair of vice grips. There's a spring I got on. Let me show you. Dodge. Doesn't matter who it is. It's a new vehicle. I'm unclear. Okay. We got to get this spring back. And then there's a bunch of prongs, 4 of them that stick out. If I can put a hose clamp around that, I can pull it through and slide it off. That's the last thing I have to do to get this out. Now, I've tried to be extremely patient. Well, you have no choice, right? Doesn't do you much good to freak. But it's definitely been an option I've considered. Well, after this much stress, what can you do? This is what I do. Canadian treat.
Cheesy.
I'm gonna take a mental health break. Okay, so I really don't want you underneath it.
I don't plan on being underneath
But
it.
you gotta hold the wheel there. Okay. Okay, now we can both go forward. Okay, straighten out the top shock bolt. Almost perfect. Cool. So I'll put a bolt in there. I'm just gonna slowly start hooking things up.
Okay, I'll go make you a pizza.
Oh, that would be lovely. Oh, see, it doesn't take much to motivate somebody, right? A pizza. Nice dog, not too bright. Okay, and I did have a shovel here somewhere. Yes. So before I put it in, we can go find one for the other side. Man, that's cool. Okay. There. Might work. Yeah. There. Okay, so got it roughly situated. I'm going to change that shock, it's bent. But now I got to take my overload springs and attach them to my brand new pack of springs, which means I got to take out 2 bolts. That's a little bit of a chore. I'm going to try that. I think I'll have to do it outside. Let me show you some of this. So what happens is these springs bolt on top here, but I'm going to sandblast and paint those 2 spacer blocks. Then I got to take out the bolts that hold the spring pack together one at a time and put this in, these 2 blocks. So there's quite a bit of force on this. I don't know how it's going to go, but we're going to find out. All right, so I've taken out the 1 bolt and I put on my 2 spacers and my overloads. So now I'm going to move my clamp over to the other side and I'm going to take out the other bolt. Now, John at OK Hitch in Kelowna is good enough to allow for every option. I wasn't sure how many blocks I was putting in. So he gave me super long bolts. So if you just have a normal spring pack, you have the short one that goes in. This one allowed me to put even 4-inch spacer in there because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. Now I'm happy with this. I can always add it back in if I got to change things. He said he could make me up another set of U-bolts. He made my U-bolts for me. So for now, I'm going to put this in and run it and see how it is and see if I need more spacers or not. Lou pulls some heavy loads, hay, big trailer, lots of stuff with this truck. So we got to pay attention and see what kind of overloads are working out best for us. Now the guys in the spring shop have a big press for doing this. I don't have that. And I don't like tapping them in, but Sort of need to. Okay, so now, okay, starting the second one. Okay, I'm gonna cut that off. I'm gonna find some goggles. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna zip cut that off. Again, your work tactics change later in the day. Okay, what do we got happening here? 28 and a quarter. 28 and 9/16. So there is a difference. Wow. So on the other one, I put all this casting to the front. Call that 30 and 3/16. Okay. Are they any different? H 54 APM. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'll tell you this. They're heavy. Yes, they are. Oh boy. Rookie camera guy. So, what I did is I lifted up the springs and I put a front bolt in and a back bolt. The other side, I can't do that. I've got the front bolt mostly in on the other side, but I found there was a really bad bushing here, And as a result of that, we ended up with some worn out eyes. So these eyes and that eye are elongated slightly, 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to weld them and temper them properly, not brittly. Just give them some hardness. And then I will have to get a new bushing for the upper. But I can put this back together and it'll be snug, because right now, well, here's the bolt that came out. In the middle of the bolt is completely eroded away. See the thickness up here? And then it's narrow all the way down. It's been bouncing. I mean, look at by the threads. That one's toast, which is no big deal. But now's the time to fix it. So I will. For now, I don't even know what I'm going to do next. I'm so happy to see those springs sitting under it. So I just got a bolt in. I wouldn't tighten these up anyhow until I had it all sitting down on the weight. Whew. I got to cut these bolts off, but I got to get that whole rear end this way about 1 inch. So I might be able to do that. It just wants to fight me now. The spring bolts are in at the front and the back, and the U-bolt plates are just snugged up. My rear end's in. The front bolt's in on this spring. This one's in. This, however, I want to fix these holes. And then I can put this in. So, you could argue, springs were installed. That means tomorrow, first thing I'll do is repair that back end, hook it up, and I'm going to set the weight down. And once the weight's down, I can start tightening up bolts. I've got a couple brake lines to do on the back. Got to add oil to the rear end. Put my drive shaft back in place. But this is good. I am freaking happy now. So, it's great being me. I think I'm going to go have a pizza. Cheers. Tomorrow we're going to drive this as a dually. And it's just going to fit inside that hoist. Oh, just. Okay. Yes, I snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. This is the good one. Happy, happy. Good night, folks. Good morning. So, this morning, I showed up earlier. I had a hole here that had been elongated, worn out bolt, and bounced around in there. You can buy a carbon stick, different sizes, or you can use brass, copper. I used a bolt, wrapped electrician's tape around it, and I ran it in the hole, and then I welded the excess hole up. And because of the electrician's tape, it didn't weld to the bolt I put in there. Here's the bolt. You can still see the tape on it. So I wrapped tape all the way around that. I stuck it through the hole and I welded around it. And then you have to quench it, but you don't want to make it brittle. So I lightly quench it, wait till the color starts to show up again, the blue, and re-quench it gently. So now I've rebuilt this hole and the one on the back side by wrapping electrician's tape around my bolt. Now, my dad has a bunch of carbon sticks, different sizes you can stick in a hole, and you can heavy weld with a stick or whatever. And then when you pull out the carbon stick, you've got a nice round hole. I don't have one of those here, so this is what you can do in a pinch. Now, I'm going to replace this. I still have to get overload brackets and put them on the frame. So when I'm doing that, I'm going to replace this piece just because. But I actually think, you know, it had been running around for 800,000 K and slowly getting messed up. So it's going to be good now. So I've got my U-bolts in. I got my front bolts in. I'm not going to tighten anything up just yet. I just put the weight down on the truck. And now I'm going to hook up the drive shaft. And then I've got to get some brake lines, and I'm going to change that bent shock. So I'm going to take these for now and put them on just so I have some shockage. But right now, I'm going to go crawl under there and I'm going to bolt up that drive shaft. So, I couldn't find a metric top. So Pete Brunenkamp showed me this years ago. If you have another X-spare bolt, you cut a couple grooves in it, and you can use that for a top if you're careful. I mean, I'm not tapping threads, I'm cleaning threads, chasing threads. So I'm going to try this to avoid going to town, because those two little grooves give the junk a place to go as it gets cleaned out. And it may not work, but I'm going to try it. And I'm going to use some cat's ass. It's got to be around here somewhere. Okay. Let's see what we get. That's pretty much all the way through. Okay, that's one. All right. happy with that. Okay, you would be amazed, or maybe you wouldn't be. I don't want to bore you with the details, but brake lines are an issue on these newer vehicles. But regardless, it's about to move out under its own power, so I can bring the box in, lift it up in the air, and bolt it on. I think I'm about there. So I'm going to drive it out. There is not a lot of room. All right. Okay, I gotta take this fuel filler out, and I've already got one. Okay, I'm hoping we don't need that anymore. And okie dokie. We're gonna try that. We're gonna try to get close. Wouldn't you? You can't get much closer than that, but I'm gonna hit my freaking dually wheels with the hoist. So, this ain't gonna go very far. Well, I'm gonna have to lift up the back of the truck and swing it that way a hair. Just no way around that. Might be enough. It might be. Yeah. Well, far out. Let's see if I can get it out of here without screwing it up. Well, I gotta tell you, I've been waiting a long time for this. I think Lou's gonna be happy. Wow. Wow. Yes. There we have it. Ooh, look at that sparkle in the sun. Hey, I just gotta run underneath. Run some bolts in. I'm gonna box line the inside of this, but super pleased. Yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. Now I gotta keep it clean, wash the truck again. Dagnabbit. Alright. Now I gotta clean up my freaking mess. Tomorrow it's back to work. It's been a nice couple days off. Oh, yeah, I gotta like the look of that. There's a set of hips on this truck.